check out this cute little dung beetle that we're going to create. Now you're probably making the assumption that this is 3D. Well, it is not. I'm going to show you how to use Midjourney AI to create this asset, along with preparing and animating said asset for use on the web. If you enjoyed this video, check out DesignCourse.com where you can learn UI, UX, CSS, and more with my custom interactive platform that makes learning fun and easy. The very first step involves issuing a prompt to Midjourney AI via their Discord interface. Now here's the prompt that I issued. Simple isometric dung beetle. And here's one of the results that I upscaled. Now once you have your asset, you then just have to separate it from the background. Now here I'm just using Photoshop. You could use GIMP as an alternative or one of the many background removing tools that exist. Now once you have it separated, you save it as a 24-bit transparent PNG file. And make sure to run that PNG file through tinypng.com to reduce the file size. This asset was reduced by 80%, so it's very worth doing. We're gonna go ahead and head on over to our rive.app. And we're gonna choose get started, make sure you log in, all that good stuff. I'm gonna choose new file up here, blank for the artboard, hit create. Over here under assets, we're gonna click the little plus sign and we're gonna choose, let's get this out of the way. I'm gonna paste this is in my downloads folder, dung, there we go. Now it's gonna process over here just for a little bit, and now we can drag it on and we hold shift and alt, scale that sucker down, and we are ready to rock. Now one thing I should have fixed, by the way, is this little strip right here. I should have just used like the paintbrush tool and made it the same color as this black right here, but no big deal, just for the purpose of this tutorial or this demo. I do want to take the artboard, so if we select up here the artboard name, we can change the fill over here, and we're just going to choose something like similar to this little color, like right in this area. All right, so what we want to do first is we need to create a mesh out of this, and to do that, we go right over here. With it selected, we choose create mesh. Then we choose new contour. This is going to give us the option. I'm going to zoom up here, control mouse scroll wheel, hold the space bar, left click just to pan around as well. We're going to basically outline this element, this whole dung beetle situation, all right? And so I'm just going here, I'm just going here. I'm thinking about where I'm placing these two in relation to where we eventually set up the bones. I don't want to have an unnecessary amount of vertices here, because that will make your life more difficult when you go to attach the bones and associate them with each of these different vertices, because that's what the process involves. So just think about that. This whole head is going to kind of move on its own. All right. And there we go. So once you connect it to the original vertex point, we can go ahead and click, actually we're not gonna click done editing yet, because there is a couple parts that I want to create an additional mesh lines, I guess you could say. I'm gonna create one that kind of goes, that separates this bottom portion. I forget what it's called, like, all insects have these, like a thorax and something else. But you can kind of see how this section kind of comes out of this shell type thing. So I'm going to create like a point right here and then like connect it back over here. And I'm no expert at this, I'm going to be honest with you. So we'll see how this ends up turning out. I'm going to connect these up real quick. Connect one like right here. Like one like right here. We'll see how this works out. I did diverge from my original plan a little bit, so hopefully that doesn't bite me in the butt. When you're done, just click on done editing. And now what we have to do is create the bones. So the bones, let me zoom up here. You can access through this menu or just hitting B. So we'll be hitting that B shortcut quite a bit. And what we're gonna do is just gonna start creating bones. And this process, you'll start to familiarize yourself with it through trial and error, essentially. I'm going to create one right here, and then down through the head. And maybe like right here. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit escape. So that's a bone right there. And we can kind of see here in the artboard structure, we have a what's called the root bone, bone 1, 2. So these are all connected together. So if I were to take this bone and start moving it, notice how it moves all the rest because these are nested within each other. Okay, so that's important. And it kind of works downwards too. So this one will stay the same because we're in a level, so it's not going to affect the root bone. And eventually the goal is to tie all these to these vertices essentially, a part of the mesh. All right, so now we can create an entirely new set of bones for each leg. So I can start, let's see, right here, here, and here. So it's just 3 points. Now it would be a very good idea at this point to start naming these, because trust me, I never name layers. I really don't, even when I'm working like Figma. But if you name layers here, it's going to make your life a lot easier. So we're just going to call this body. All right. This is going to be it would be his right hind leg. So right back leg. There we go. So you're going to see how this is going to help us in the future, because it is very tedious. All right, next up, we're going to create another leg bone right here in the middle leg, right here and here. Hit escape. This is going to be right middle leg. Again, here's what it looks like. We're going to hit B again. We're going to go here, here, and here. And again, this is going to be right front leg. Finally, we have one more pair of bones. It's going to be here, here, and here. Hit escape, and this is going to be our left front leg. All right, awesome. So now you should have something that looks pretty similar to this. Now at this point, we want to take and grab a hold of our mesh, and it's just hover over it. You'll see the outline, and then what we want to do is hit enter. And we're going to select all these. All right. And then what we're going to do is choose bind bones right here. Hit the plus, and this blue outline comes up. And then we're going to go ahead and take and expand all of these real quick. And then what we do is just hit done after we do that. So right now, if I were to select this, hit enter to get into the vertex mode, what we would see is if we click on any one of these, any of these vertex points, notice right here where it says left front leg 100%. It's basically everything is tied to this bone. Let me get out of here for a second. This bone right here. And if we were to rotate it, it moves the whole thing. That is not what we want. Now, this is part of the tedious task. We have to try to create an association with the surrounding vertices, with the surrounding bones that we created, essentially. So I'm not going to show you the whole process. I'll show you just a little bit of it. Then that way you can do the rest on your own. So here's how you do it. So we select the mesh, hit enter, and let's say we want to get this leg all situated correctly. Well, we can see there's one continuous bone going right here. And by the way, if you hover over these, we'll see like where is it, right back leg. You can see how they kind of change colors on the bones themselves when you hover over back and forth between the actual layers. That'll let you know which one it is. So this is called bone 1, and it's right, it's going to be, if I find it here in a second, it is right back leg. So right back leg, and that color is this one right here. It'll show you the color of the leg in this area right there. So right back leg is that beige color. And then we have bone 1, which is right here, right underneath it. All right, so you could probably go further and name each one of these and make your life a little bit easier. So bone 1 is what we want to attach or create an association with. All of these ones, I would say right here. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 vertex points. So what we do is we come over here, and it's going to be 100%. So we do this bone 1, we put 100 right there. It should look like this. All right, so that's good. Now, if I take this, not sure why it's doing that. There we go. Guess what? It's going to move just that. All right, so now when it comes to joints, that can be a little bit more tricky. So what we do is like for these ones right here, these three, I would say, because they're near a joint, it'll be 50% on this bone and 50% on this bone right here. Okay, so here's how we do that. Essentially, we go ahead and take those three and we choose, it's the right back leg, 50 here. We put 0 up here on the left front leg. That gives us 100% right there. And then on the bone underneath it, we'll do 50. And now it's 50 there and 50% there. All right. Finally, what we'll do is, let's see here. We will take this one. Now, what you can do as well is you can take the bone tool with this selected and you can, or not the bone tool, I'm sorry, the pen tool. And you can add vertex points. So when there's like a big joint or something, we can add one like right here and then like one right there. So now we can go ahead and select, just hit escape, our select tool. And this one here, and this one, we will associate with this bone right there, which is right back leg. This would be 100%. All right, so now if I come back out, now if you get distortion like that, you can fix it by properly placing these vertex points in an area or in a manner that will help essentially prevent that from occurring. So we can move them closer. So let's see that. Unfortunately, that when I did this originally, it was less messed up. But you can also push these in different directions, and we can actually scale them as well. So you have a lot of different parameters to try to create the effect of the leg actually moving. Okay. So what you have to do is basically do that all the way around. I know that took a little bit of time, but if I hit enter, again, I'll just show you real quickly. I'll probably take these, and this is the middle leg. So middle leg would be all bone one right there, 100%. Again, we come back out, we can do a test of selecting it, and that moves it, perfect. And then again, the joints and such can be 50% of middle leg, so we're going to put 100 there and then 50 here. There we go. And then we'll take the remaining. All right. All right, so I did a half decent job sitting here trying to do this as fast as possible. If we take a look at each of the bones, we can kind of move it around just to see how it behaves. Now, if you do it too much, I mean, it's going to look ridiculous. Things are going to get really distorted. You can just play around with these just to see how it behaves, and you can always just go back and make edits if you need to. Here's the head. That's a pretty good adjustment there. Again, you want to avoid like where you see distortions of things that shouldn't be moving. That's just a matter of setting up the mesh points well. I think I did a better job my first time around. Anyhow, let's go ahead and try to animate this. So to animate, what we do is switch over to the animate tab up here. We're just hold tab. You can switch between the two. And then right down here where it says timeline right here, we click on that. Then what we'll do is we want to create the initial starting state. So we're going to create a walk sequence, and we're going to keyframe all of those like where we want them to be essentially. So right now it's kind of like in a neutral position. We want like one where it's just at the end of the stride. So to do that, we're going to make the assumption that this leg is currently pushing back, which I looked at the walking diagram of an insect. The middle leg and this leg will be coming together or going away from each other when it comes to walk. And this one does what, this one will go in the direction of the front leg, this back leg. So what we'll do is just try to create that situation. So let's see here. We'll push this up maybe. We'll take this one, push it back like this. Okay, that's good. Now we'll take this one, push it forward. Let's see here. And take this one. There we go. All right, now we're going to take this one and kind of tilt it back, I guess. And this one. Yeah, something like that's fine. Now notice up here, sorry I was a little bit loud. Some of these keyframes are, these are actually, the blue ones are keyframed. The scale is not on this one, so if you go to try to edit the scale in the after version, it's gonna screw up the walk cycle. So it's best just to tick these off, just to make sure everything, all your bases are cleared. So again, like you could check for each one of these, like I'm gonna tick the position and these ones off for that bone. I'm gonna select this bone. I'm gonna do the same thing for all these real quick, just to be safe and secure. That one has it. This one needs both of them. And I'm gonna do these as well. Again, I'm still on the very first frame. I'll go ahead and just kind of fast forward or time lapse this portion for this first keyframe. So this one, this leg right here, by the way, if this one's going back, this one's going forward. All right. All right, so now I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna adjust the timeline from 1 second to 2, right here for duration. Just gonna give us a little bit more time. We're gonna drag this all the way out here. Then we're gonna come to the very end, and we are going to essentially copy all of these keyframes and paste them over here. That way we can come to like the center, which is 1 second, and we can create the opposite, like the forward, and then it will loop over and over. So to do that, we're just gonna go ahead and take these, and this one's gonna come forward. So let's rotate it like this. Maybe we'll rotate this one, well, maybe not forward. Maybe we'll rotate it, push it like that. Kind of like that. There we go. Just take the middle joint, and that does a pretty good job. This one will come back. Kind of like that. So just, you know, make sure you rotate, scale, and position these things accordingly. This one has to go back. All right, so we're gonna push this here, put this one here, take this one, maybe scale it out like that, and then this one has to come forward. So let's see, the rotate it forward here. We don't want to distort that too much. I kind of screwed that one up. We want to grab this joint here. Kind of like that. Oh, yep, I think that's good. Okay. Additionally, I'm not sure if we added keyframes for these. Looks like I did. Well, either way, let's do, let's come over here and let's just choose loop. All right. And let's hit this space bar. Pretty cool. All right, so we can also change the easing. So if we take all these. Oh, there's something happening down here. All right, so something I didn't adjust. The mesh itself. Okay, we don't have to worry about the mesh. Okay, that's fine. Let's just take, sorry, that's my phone going off. Let's take all these and then change the easing right here to this option, cubic. Kind of pull these out a little bit more. Now we can go back. And it just kind of changes the animation flow. Now what we can do is we can adjust. Let's see if we can make a little bit of adjustment here. Oh, that's right. It's because they're not keyframed. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to select this one. We're going to put a keyframe. Again, we do this up here for the position. We're not going to do scale, but we'll do rotation as well. We'll do it on this bone as well. So rotation, length, that's fine. And then let's see. I'm going to pull this up. There they are. They're at the bottom. And then we'll also adjust this one right here. We're going to put this in length. So now we have these 3 keyframes. We're going to come to the end, paste them. Oops, I did not get that bottom one. All right, there we go. And then we come in the middle, and then we just like, you know, play around with it, move it up. All right. This one, maybe it's going to come down a little bit. And then maybe this one, the head comes up. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, that's not ideal. All right, so there's something that's the body. Okay, so the body. Let's copy this keyframe. Okay. Hopefully there's no jaggedness at the end. There it is, perfect. All right, so you could further play around with this. You know, you can add like a shadow. I'll show you how to do that real quick. If I go to design, we could just take the ellipse tool, come out here like this. We'll put it at the very bottom of everything. And we could change the fill here to radial, get this in the middle, and then change this one, color drop the background. This one, we'll color drop the background as well, but make it just darker. All right, and then we can grab this and kind of like just rotate it. Why am I not getting the rotation option? Oh well, something like that. Just give it a little bit of depth. In my original version, I have rocks that kind of just pass and loop over. I'll leave that effect to you. But let's say, you know, you're happy with this. You know, you go back to your animate tab and everything's looking good. We can go now here, and we can either just download it so that you can include it into your project for newest runtime right there. You could share the link, and when you do that, this screen comes up. All right, and you can basically just give it a name and generate the link. So it's going to generate. And then it gives you a share link where you can just copy this and like show people on the web. You can embed it. Here's an iframe embed code, which I did that already on my version. So do I have that open? Yes, I do. Here's what my version originally looks like right here. So if I zoom up, you always see like the little pebbles kind of going past them. So that's the embed code that I used here. It's just an iframe. Very, very cool. Alrighty. So as always, make sure to check out DesignCourse.com. If you haven't yet, we have UI UX courses, CSS courses, and they're all interactive with our custom platform for courses. So definitely check those out if you're interested in learning more. Myself right there, and I'll see you all later. All right, goodbye.